Zombies are a common theme in Haitian stories and folklore. On the Caribbean island, where voodoo remains a major religion, bokor or sorcerers are thought to bring the dead back to life using mystical powders. These dead come back as mindless slaves who are under the will of the bokor and are usually used to perform back-breaking labor. Now, despite the improbability of these tales, they prey on the rural people's deepest fears, and they're generally regarded in Haiti as factual. Now, the most famous zombie case occurred in 1980, when a man walked into the village of L'Ester and approached a woman named Angelina Narcisse. And despite the fact that she didn't recognize the man, he insisted that he was her brother, Clairvius, who had died 18 years earlier. The woman was skeptical until he used his childhood nickname and shared a number of family stories that only the real Clairvius would have known. Interestingly, Clairvius' demise had been documented. He'd arrived at Schweitzer Hospital in Deschapelles on April 30th of 1962, feverish and aching. He began spitting up blood, and his condition deteriorated until he seemingly died 3 days later. He was placed in cold storage for 20 hours before being buried in L'Ester's small cemetery, and he stated that after his death he was in a conscious but paralyzed state and remembered having the doctor pronounce him dead and placing a sheet over him, his sister weeping over his body, and even being placed in a coffin and lowered into the ground. Clairvius then stated that on the night after he was buried, a bokor, or voodoo priest, dug up his body and beat him with a whip. He was then carried off to a distant sugar plantation where he was forced to work, and this continued for nearly 2 decades, at which point the bokor died, and Clairvius was able to escape and return home. Now, Narcisse's case became well known in Haiti, and eventually graduate student Wade Davis heard about it and traveled to the nation several times between 1982 and 1984 in hopes of finding the cause of Haitian zombies. Davis found that there was a complex interplay between social, psychological, and pharmaceutical factors that went into the creation of the zombie. And while the drugs that were given to a prospective zombie played a part, they were only a catalyst for the process, with the major aspect of the creation being the bokor's magical powers to capture the victim's soul. Now, Davis found that the process for creating a zombie varied from practitioner to practitioner, but roughly followed a pattern. The bokor prepared a complex powder that contained a number of animal and plant ingredients, including marine toads, hyla tree frogs, pufferfish, which are a source, of course, of the paralyzing tetrodotoxin, datura, a common hallucinogenic herb, and various other components. And this powder was either administered to a potential victim in food, by rubbing it on the skin, or even blowing it in their face. Now, once the mixture was administered to the victim, the person became paralyzed, and their pulse became faint, and they would appear dead. At the same time, victims of the powder would state that they were still fully aware of their surroundings, and the lifeless body would then be buried soon after death, as would be natural in the hot, humid Caribbean climate. Now, the bokor would then have to act quickly to dig up the body before the buried person died of asphyxiation. The bokor would perform a voodoo rite where he captured and controlled the victim's soul, and the captured soul would be contained in a small clay jar, or even a common bottle, which was wrapped in a piece of the victim's clothing and buried in a secret place that only the bokor knew of. Now, after a brief time, the bokor would then administer another powder to the zombie, which would be used to control them. The zombie would have no memory or personality and couldn't speak, and at this point they were totally under the bokor's control and were usually sent to work as slave laborers until the bokor died. Now, when Davis arrived in Haiti, he sought out a bokor to find out details of how the zombie powder was created, and eventually he was able to learn the process and obtain several vials of this supposed zombie powder. After collecting these samples, Davis returned to the U.S. to follow up on the hypothesis that the active ingredient in zombie powder was the tetrodotoxin from the pufferfish. Now, the popular press latched onto the story, and Davis did end up producing a successful book, The Serpent and the Rainbow, which was published a year later and detailed his experiences in Haiti. And while Davis's fieldwork was noted for its ability to systematically study a folk phenomena, the biochemical studies of the samples that he returned with were less than promising, with results studying the amounts of tetrodotoxin conflicting with each other. Davis argued that this was due to poor investigative methods on the processing of the analyzing labs, while peer reviews accused him of sloppy science. Interestingly, despite these inconsistencies in studying the powders, nobody, including Davis, ever returned to Haiti to obtain any more samples for further analysis. Now, there's been several other attempts to document zombification in Haiti, including a number of videos on YouTube. However, it quickly becomes apparent from watching this that in addition to the complex web of folks' belief concerning the matter, there's a great deal of gullibility on the part of the journalists investigating this, as well as a fair amount of good old-fashioned fraud on the part of the supposed Bokors when these cases of zombification are being studied. Zombie in My Pocket was designed by Jeremiah Lee in 2007, and it's a free print and play game, and I'll put a link down below so if you want to download a hard copy of it. The premise of the game is that the dead walk the earth, and you only have several hours to search your house for an evil temple, and if you can take the totem to the graveyard, which happens to be in your yard, and bury it before midnight, you can stop the undead horde. If not, your brains are going to serve as a light snack for this rotting army. Now, the components of the game are 8 indoor tiles, 8 outdoor tiles, 9 development cards, and a player card. And to set this up, first of all, you place the foyer tile on the table, and you set the patio tile aside. You then shuffle the outdoor tiles and place them in a stack face down, and the indoor tiles and place them in a stack face down. Next, you shuffle the development cards, and you discard the top 2 cards face down. Next, you record your starting attack score, which is 1, and your health score, which is 6. And these numbers will change over the course of the game, and there's no upper limit to either of them. Finally, you set the starting time of 9 p.m. on your player card. Now, there's indoor and outdoor sequences. Now, most of the game is played indoors, so we'll start with that sequence first. Now, you start out in a particular room, and the first thing you do is choose an exit door into a new room or a room that you've already visited, and you move into that. Now, if it's a new room, you draw and place an indoor tile, and one door on the new tile has to match your exit door. You then draw a development card, even if you're revisiting a room for a second time. Now, if there aren't any cards left, then the time will pass to the next hour, which I'm going to talk about in just a little bit. Now, on the development card, you look at the text corresponding to your current time. And if it says item, that means you draw a second development card and take the item in the lower right corner. An event means you add or subtract a point of health as indicated. Now, there are several events in the game that just add flavor and don't change anything. Now, finally, the development card may indicate that you have to fight a certain number of zombies in the room. And again, I'll talk about combat in just a second. Now, after the development cards have been resolved, you follow any instructions on the room tile. Examples of rooms with special instructions include the graveyard, the temple, the storage room, the kitchen, and the garden. Now, if the room drawn is the evil temple or the graveyard, you draw and resolve a card, and then you draw and resolve a second card. Now, this basically represents the time you spent searching for or burying the totem. Now, if you're still alive and in the room after resolving the card, then you found or buried the totem. Now, in the storage room, you resolve the development card as normal, and then you draw another card and get the item shown on that card. Now, you can choose not to draw the card, but you don't get the item. Now, in the kitchen or the garden, if you end your turn on that tile, that is, you don't run away from zombies, you can add +1 to your health. Now, sometimes after placing a tile, there won't be any exits. For example, if you place the bathroom directly above the foyer. And it is possible that all exits have been explored without finding a necessary room. Now, if this occurs, 3 zombies bash through the wall, making a doorway in the wall of your choice in your current room, and you have to fight them as normal, and you can't cower before a zombie door attack. Now, you can exit the house through the dining room exterior door, which is marked by an arrow, and when you exit, you place the patio tile next to the dining room tile, and you line up the arrows, and then you draw and resolve a development card as normal. Now, the outdoor turn sequence is pretty much like the indoor. However, instead of choosing an exit door, you choose an open grassy edge to exit from. And one grassy edge on the new outside tile has to match your exit edge, and you can't pass through the hedges. I mentioned time passing, and the game starts at 9 p.m., and an hour passes each time you have drawn all of the development cards in a stack, and there's none left. You then advance to the next time. You reshuffle the deck, including the 2 discarded cards that I mentioned in the setup, and then you discard 2 cards upside down, as you did when you were setting the game up. An item card was the last card drawn. You reshuffle the deck and discard as described above, and you draw the first card from the new deck to determine what the item found would be. And you're now ready to flip through the new stack of development cards. Now, combat's very simple in this game. If there's zombies in a room, you can do 2 things. You can either fight them, and to resolve combat with zombies, you subtract your current attack score from the number of zombies you face to find the amount of health you lose in defeating the zombies. So in other words, it's number of zombies minus your attack score each equals your damage received. And you can never lose more than 4 health points in a battle. Also, you can never gain health points through combat. The second thing you can do is run away. And to run away, you simply run through a door or a grassy edge into a previously explored tile. And the zombies have a chance to swipe at you as you leave, causing 1 health point of damage. Now, in this case, you don't draw a development card for the room you're running into. Now, I've talked a little bit about items, and when a new development card shows item for your time, you then draw the next development card and you find the item shown on that development card. And that's the only thing you do with that second development card, is take the item. Events and zombies are ignored. It's important for you to record the item that you're carrying, as the cards are often shuffled back into the deck when time passes and before you have a chance to use the item. Now, you can only hold 2 items at once, and if you gain a third item, you have to drop one to pick another one up. And dropped items disappear when you leave a tile, and you can only use 1 weapon in combat, though you can carry 2. The items include oil, which you can throw as you run away to avoid taking damage. You can also combine it with candles to kill all the zombies on one tile without taking any damage, and this has a one-time use. There's gasoline, which you can again combine with the candle to kill all the zombies without taking damage. Gas can also combine with the chainsaw to give 2 more chainsaw uses, and gasoline has a one-time use. There's a board with nails, which adds 1 to your attack score, a can of soda, which adds 2 to your health points, a grizzly femur, which adds 1 to your attack score, a golf club, which adds 1 to your attack score, the candle, which you can combine with your oil or gas to kill all the zombies on the tile without taking damage, the chainsaw, which adds 3 to your attack score, and it only has enough fuel for 2 battles, and the machete, which adds 2 to your attack scores. Now, one other thing you can do in a room after you've completed the turn sequence in that tile, you can curl up in the corner, hide, and whimper. And if you do this, you discard the top development card without resolving it. However, you do regain 3 health points. Now, you lose the game if your health reaches 0. That means either an event killed you, or you were eaten alive by zombies, or time runs out. In other words, it's 11 o'clock and you've drawn the last development card with none left. And you win the game by simply being alive after burying the zombie totem in the graveyard. And at that point, all the zombies collapse into pools of ichor and you've won the game. So here is Zombie in my pocket, and luckily the Vassal module does a lot of the setup for you. It has your indoor tiles here already shuffled and upside down, your patio, and then your outdoor tiles shuffled. The development cards they've taken out the 2 development cards and shuffled the deck, so it's ready to go. And my little guy is right here in the foyer. So we're ready to draw a tile. And we draw the kitchen. And I can rotate this. There's 3 exits, so I can move into the kitchen and draw a development card. And I get a 9 p.m. Your event, your body shivers involuntarily. So I basically get a piss shiver from being in the kitchen. And I get +1 health if I end my turn there. So that's good. That gives me a +1. It takes me to 7. Now I need to choose whether I'm going to go this way or this way for the next room. And I'll go this way. And I end up with the family room. Let's rotate that around. I move in and I draw the next development card, and it's 9 p.m. You try hard not to wet yourself. Well, that kind of has something to do with the last one. So it doesn't really change anything. We can go with our next tile, and it's the bedroom. I walk into the bedroom, I draw a development card, and 3 zombies are there. So combat's real easy. I take the 3 zombies. I have an attack factor of 1 because I don't have any objects. So 3 minus 1 is 2. So I take 2 hit points of damage. Okay. We can then draw another development card. Oh, wait, no, I don't draw. I draw a evil temple. So evil temple's there, and I walk into that. Now, remember with the evil temple, I have to draw 2 development cards. So I'll draw the first one. And I get an item. Okay, that's going to mean 3 development cards because I draw a development card strictly for the item, and I get the golf club. So let me just take the golf club. Now I have my second development card to draw while I'm searching for the totem. And I get another item. Okay, so that's the 4th development card. Not so good because I'm basically losing a lot of time here. And I get a can of Coke. The can of Coke will give me +2 to my health. And I am ready to move on. Now I could move backwards, but that's going to cost me, so I'm going to move out this way. And I hit the bathroom. And I walk in the bathroom. And let's see, draw another develop. Oh, that's the end of the, okay. So basically what happened was when I went into the bathroom, I have to go to 10 o'clock because I'm out of cards. So I'm going to reshuffle. There's the bell. And let's give myself an hour, and we'll draw a card to see what happens in the bathroom. An item, another item. Okay, draw a development card, and I get the golf club again, so it doesn't help me any. Just a waste of time. Okay, moving back to the temple. Draw a development card, and a bat poops in my eye, so I lose a health point to the bat poop. Guano. Okay. We'll move down to the bedroom. And I hit 5 zombies. Okay, so 5 zombies attack. Now, I've got a +1 on the golf club, so I have a total attack of 2. So 5 minus 2 is 3. And that's takes me there. Okay. We'll go back to the family room. We draw a development card, and I get 10 o'clock. I hear terrible screams. Well, that's not so bad. I guess we're going to have to go this way. And we get the dining room. Now, I think you just ignore that if there's nothing like that there. So we go into the dining room, and I draw a development card, and I get, you feel a spark of hope, +1 health. Good, okay. And the dining room is the area to the patio. That's right, so that takes me outside, which is good. Because I go here, and I draw a development card. I get another item, and we'll draw another development card. Oh, wait. Okay, that's an issue is we just hit the end of 10 o'clock, so we're at the 11 o'clock, so I'll reshuffle again. I set my hour to 11 o'clock, and I draw a development card. Now, this will be for an item, and my item's another can of soda, so I can take that and bring my health up. I may just win this one. Okay, I'm outside. We'll go north or up. And I'm in the graveyard. Okay, so first turn in the graveyard. I draw a development card. And I get the smell of blood is in the air. I draw the second development card and hit 6 zombies. So 6 minus 2 is 4. That takes me -4 on health. Takes me to 2. I guess I should say I have the totem. And that lets me bury the totem, and I win the game. Let's try it again. We'll set it back up, and we'll do it again, and maybe I'll lose this one just to show how you lose the game. Okay, we're going to try playthrough 2 here and see how we do. First thing we're going to do is try to go into the new room, and we pull the dining room. So we've already found a way out to the patio, and we'll move in there. We'll draw a development card, and we hit 3 zombies right off the bat. So 3 minus 1 is 2 points of damage. And then we go into a room. Now, I'm not going to worry about going out on the patio yet, but I will draw this one here. Let's rotate it around. Okay, and this is a storage room. So we move in there, we draw a card, and we find an item. Okay, and we may draw a new card to find an item, so I think we can draw 2 item cards here. Actually, I think I draw 4. So first item we draw, and we get a can of soda. I'll go ahead and add 2 here. And then we draw for the next item, and it's an oil can. Oil can what? Okay, I guess I know it's a little confusing on how that works, but we'll just take it like that. Move back to the dining room. Draw a development card, and it says, your body shivers involuntarily. Okay. I guess we can move here. We'll do another zombie card and end up in the kitchen. And we'll draw a development card, and we get 4 zombies. You can see at 9 o'clock here, 4 zombies. So 4 minus 1 is 3. Let's see, 3, 3, 3. I don't have the candles. I can't do anything with the oil. So 3 points of damage. Oops, and 1 more. So I'm down to 3. Okay. I gain a health point now if I'm still standing. And I think I'm pretty good. I think as long as when I get to 2, I'll probably have to cower. So let's go ahead and go here. Okay, now we find the evil temple. Draw the first card for the evil temple, and we get an item. So we draw the item card. Oops, we've got to reshuffle. 10 o'clock. And our item is a grizzly femur. Okay. Excuse me. Now I have to do a second turn in the evil temple. And I get bat poops in your eye, -1 health. So we bring our health down here. And I now have the totem. Okay, we move back to the kitchen. And what's in the kitchen? Well, this time we're in the kitchen again. We draw a development card, and we get 4 zombies. So 4 minus 1 is 3. But I've got a grizzly femur, so that adds 1. So it's 4 minus, not 4 minus 1, but 4 minus 2 is 2. And I'm going to go ahead and cower for a turn. So we draw a development card, and we get an item. But we ignore that. I'm sorry, we ignore that. And we add 3 to our health. Okay, we go back to the dining room. Draw a development card, get an item. And our item is a candle. Well, that's good because we can use that. Oh, wow, I like that sound effect. We can use that. Now then, we'll change that to the patio because there's arrows out. And we draw a development card and get 4 zombies. So 4, we have the grizzly bone, so that's 1. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and use my candle. And I'm going to use my oil, and that automatically eliminates all of the zombies. Okay, we're outdoors. We'll go here, and I end up in the garden. We draw a development card. Oops, we reshuffle the cards. Sorry, and add an hour, and draw a development card, and it's now 5 zombies. So 5 minus 2 is 3 points. -1, and then I'm in the garden, and I get +1 for being in the garden. We draw. We move to the next one, the yard. There's the swing set. Draw a development card, and 6 zombies. Okay, so 6 minus 2 is 4. That's the maximum you can take, and that will take me down to 0. I love the sound effects. Whoever did this, Vassal, they did really well with this for such a simple game. They did a great job. So anyway, that's how you lose the game. So I've died by the zombies and they eat my brain. Anyway, that's what I got this week. It's a pretty short game, kind of fun to play, and for a freebie, hey, it's pretty awesome. So there's a whole bunch of other in my pocket games out there. This is a whole series that they've done. So check it out. I think you might have fun just messing around with it. Anyway, that's what I got. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.